Hi, and welcome to the Cortex tutorial for the updated render modules in Cortex version 5.3. Today, I'm going to walk you through the new features and interface including one-to-many rendering and the new audio configuration combine component in compositional renders. To refer to the manual, press Shift F1 anytime while Cortex is open. In version 5.3, Cortex has enhanced its render module's capabilities for both real and compositional renders. These changes represent some of the more significant updates in the interface from previous versions. To begin, let's look at our new composition reel feature. In version 5.3, Cortex allows you to render segments of a composition rather than the whole composition by adding selected events to a composition reel. This is especially useful in dead pixel correction, where the goal may be to replace only the frames of an image sequence that have been corrected. Like a traditional clips reel, create a composition reel, name it, and select the timecode that will be generated. Then choose your deliverables. Next, select the events you'd like to add from the bin in either the Color tool, Sync tool, or QA tool. Right-click and choose Add Selected Events to Comp Reel. Or, if there's a marked region on the timeline, right-click and choose Add Marked Events Range to Comp Reel. In this case, all events between the in and out marks will be added. Once you close the reel and the renders are complete, you can right-click on the event in the render list and navigate directly to the containing folder. In version 5.3, Cortex now allows simultaneous rendering of multiple deliverables from one source on a single machine. This feature is called one-to-many, whereby optimizing both GPU and CPU processing allows concurrent file renders as opposed to one-to-one, where deliverables are rendered one at a time. This is helpful in workflows where multiple deliverables of the same files are required, such as dailies. After you create a composition reel or Eclipse reel, name the reel and select the timecode that will be generated during the render. Now select the workflow and deliverables and then choose which deliverables you would like to render simultaneously by clicking the one-to-many button for those deliverables. Cortex will then begin to render all of the deliverables. In the Render tool, an asterisk will indicate which deliverables have been selected for one-to-many. Within composition reels or clip reels, you can change the output location for each deliverable. Select the deliverable that you'd like to redirect and click on the ellipsis to navigate to the new location. Now that you can save audio configurations in all compositions and not just IMFs, Cortex has expanded its composition render options based on the different audio mixes and deliverable configurations. When the Render Composition dialog box is open, select the deliverable you would like to render. Now choose which audio mixes you would like to render. Cortex will either render multiple files or a single file based on how many and which combination of audio configurations you choose. If you select only the deliverable option, Cortex will render a single file based on the audio mix determined by the deliverable configuration. You can choose to modify the mix by clicking here and remapping the channels with the audio matrix. This modification is unique to this render and will not affect the mix within the deliverable configuration for future renders. Note that you can also remap the audio configurations saved to the composition. In this instance, we have two configurations that have been saved to this composition. You can choose to render two separate files, one per configuration, by selecting each audio configuration. By selecting the Combine option, you will choose to render one file with both configurations embedded. If you select both configurations and the deliverable option, 3 files will render for the composition, one per audio configuration and a third for the audio mix as determined by the deliverable. You can also choose to render the scratchpad. This will render all of the tracks in the order in which they were edited to the timeline. If you're rendering using one-to-many from a composition, you are limited to the deliverable configuration. If other configurations exist, they will be grayed out as they are not available for one-to-many rendering. You can also edit the audio labels for QuickTime files. Enable the Override Layout option and select the tracks you would like to relabel, and choose the label from the options provided. Remember, you can always change the output location before rendering, but unlike reels, Compositions allow one location for all deliverables. And that's the tutorial for Cortex's render modules in version 5.3. For other tutorials, please visit tutorials.mtifilm.com. For support, to submit a help ticket, or to find other useful information about Cortex, please check out forum.mtifilm.com. Thanks!